Today we're going to talk about finding an instructor and getting the most out of your training dollar. What's up, America? Neil here with Geauga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. As I said, today we're going to talk specifically about finding competent instruction in your area, trying to get you to avoid some of the pitfalls and guide you towards the things that are going to get you the most out of your training dollars. I know what you guys are thinking, well, everything I say is going to lead back to me, and that's not the case. I know that less than 1% of my entire viewing population, my fan base, is going to ever have an opportunity to train with me. I get that. But for those of you that are home and trying to figure out where can I get training, because I get that question all the time. Do you know somebody in Nebraska? Do you know somebody in Idaho? And the answer is typically no. I know a lot of people in the industry, but I don't know a trainer in every single state. I'll be the first to admit that. So here's the thing. This is something I get in every class. Some student will come up to me and they'll say something ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Now, for them, this makes total sense, but this is just craziness. They'll say something like, oh yeah, I took this class and my instructor was a Delta SEAL, underground, airborne specialist, Secret Service agent. First of all, I don't care who your instructor was. I don't care what their credentials were, and I don't care what they taught you, because that is not you. You get that? You are the one in front of me, not your instructor. So I don't care how good he or she was, it's irrelevant as to you. And that's going to lead us into our next point, which is just because an instructor has a skill set means nothing about what you have as a skill set. Because you attended somebody's course, that doesn't mean that you now have somebody's skills. Now, I don't want this to become a big rant, but here's the thing. If you're trying to learn a skill, right, it would be like the same as saying, my kid just turned 16, and they've never driven a car before, so I need to hire Mario Andretti. Your kid probably doesn't know the difference yet between a gas, brake, and a clutch, which one is which, and how they all work. But you're telling me that you need to pay top dollar for Mario Andretti to teach you, a person who is a elite level professional, as if that somehow that your kid is going to be able to decipher that information and apply it. It's as simple as this. I've got a fire hose and you put a Dixie cup in there. If you are a new shooter and you're starting from ground one, you need to learn, number one, gun safety. That's a given. The second thing is you got to learn the fundamentals of shooting. I don't care how fast you want to go one day or what you see on TV or YouTube when you watch even my videos and we're drawing quick and we're moving fast. These are skills and techniques that have been mastered over decade plus, almost going on 15 years, a decade and a half of experience. And that's just under professional instruction. Obviously, I shot since I was a kid. And so what you see, just like anything else, when you look at a professional or someone who's good at something, it looks easy, like, wow, okay, I can do that. But there is so much that goes into getting to that point. And you got to put in the hard work to get there. Let's say that you're new to shooting. Maybe you took a CCW class, which, by the way, you have no training at all. I don't even want to discuss it. If you went to a CCW class, unless there was an entire day outside of that, I don't care what state you live in, but a whole nother day of just training where you're on a range and there's multiple instructors teaching you techniques. If that didn't happen, which is highly unlikely, you have zero training, because a CCW class is an educational course, okay? You come to my CCW class, it's the first thing I'm going to tell you. I'm going to bring as many concepts and techniques and videos and try to make it exciting and entertaining for you, but it's not training. It's an educational course, okay? So what you need to find is someone who understands the fundamentals of shooting. That is it. There's a lot to do about paying huge, and I've talked to students who have paid obscene amount of money when you consider not just the course. Courses alone can be $1,000. But you're talking about courses. You're talking about travel, room and board. These are multiple days, out of state, huge amounts of money for this training, okay? And at the end of the day, if this student who went for this amazing training by this big name person or big name school, They don't even have a grasp yet, a command of the fundamentals. Yeah, can they teach you the fundamentals? Of course, but you could have gotten that right in your hometown, right in your own county if you had to go even further. And so I'm not telling you that all big schools are bad. What I'm telling you is if you are looking for the fundamentals and you're getting into shooting, you don't need to spend obscene amounts of money and travel. I would love everyone to watch this to come pay money and travel and come and see me. It's what I do for a living. But that's not the point. The point is you can find someone who's competent in your area. Now, when we talk about competent, right, this is where this big whole resume builder comes in. What's this person's experience? What do they know? You could take somebody who just got their basic NRA certificate to be an instructor. Maybe they've got a few months under their belt, maybe a year, whatever the case is. If you know nothing about shooting, meaning you've never taken a course, more than likely, if that person has the skill set to instruct, which we're going to talk about in a minute as well, that's probably more than sufficient for you to get more than you paid for as far as information and an ability to learn how to shoot effectively. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people just reaching for this instructor who's got this crazy resume. And let's talk about resumes. Let's just talk about experience, because this is another area that drives me nuts. As a professional instructor, obviously I've had a lot of years, a lot of instruction. I've paid lots of money. And that's one of the benefits of this YouTube and anything that I give you, is that you're leveraging that. You're getting all those experience time and money that I've put forth, and I'm putting it out there for you for virtually nothing. But here's the thing. You look at this person and you say, let's say, for example, that Bob is a sniper. He's a retired sniper. He was an active sniper. He went overseas. We have confirmed kills. I mean, incredible experience, right? This guy, if he comes back and he opens, let's just say, ABC shooting school, okay? Okay. Now, does he have, first of all, the skills as an excellent marksman to shoot long range? Without question. No question about it. He does. Does he have the skills to teach you as a great instructor? I don't know the answer to that. Just because you have a skill set to do something doesn't mean that you have the skills to get that information effectively to somebody else. If I have any credit at all as an instructor, it's my ability to work with a broad range of individuals, to be able to come into a room and quickly decipher personalities. I might have 20 people in there, and when I'm with other instructors, we talk about this kind of thing. You got the front rowers, the back rowers, the loud mouths, the note takers, and we put these in different sections, okay? Different people, different ways of learning. And so if I'm to be effective as an instructor, I need to understand you personally, amongst 19 other people or however many people in the room, and give you information and relay it in a way that you get the most out of it. That is a skill set all on its own. Just because you have the ability or the skills or the experience in a particular field doesn't necessarily mean that you can translate that effectively to the end user. Does that mean automatically find the cheapest person that you can find? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, rather than going, what's the big name school? Okay, if you're an instructor and you're building your resume and your credentials and you want to say, hey, I trained here, here, and here, that's fine. But for the person who's looking to just get into shooting, hey, I got my CCW, or I'm thinking about getting my CCW and I want to learn how to shoot, find someone local in your area, okay, who has some certifications, and go there. And here's the deal. They could be an excellent instructor and not be an excellent instructor for you. That happens all the time. It's very possible that I'm with somebody and I may have an assistant instructor with me, and I will say something like, we're going to do this, not quite getting it, and I'll say it a different way, maybe not quite getting it, and then this instructor, okay, will say it, in my opinion, almost exactly the same way, but they get it. Something, some way that they communicated, connected with that person, and that's just human nature. People connect with people differently, and that's fine. So if you find an instructor, I don't care what the resume is, if it doesn't work out for you, that's fine. Find somebody else. I always recommend that people train with as many different people as possible. If you came to my class, one of the things I'm going to tell you is whether you like me or don't like me, if you want to train somewhere else, great. Here's what I'm teaching, and if it works for you, great. If not, go take it to somebody else. Go somewhere else. If we really are good instructors, then that will be shown when you find other schooling. I do want to drill down a little deeper on one topic, and that is credentials. There's three really segments. There's NRA, outside schooling, and big name schools, okay? And they're very, very different. So let's go back to my first example, Bob, right? Bob is an excellent sniper. Again, expert in his field, saw real combat, good guy. And he starts a school, Bob's Tactical. And so let's just say that you even want to be an instructor. You got to the fundamentals and you want to be an instructor. So you go to Bob's Tactical and you learn all kinds of great stuff about long-range shooting, and you really become competent. Maybe you go several times, and that's all well and good. And then you go to a range and you say, hey, I want to be an instructor here. I'm excellent with long-range shooting. And they say, okay, well, where'd you get your experience? What have you done? And you go, hey, I've gone to 2 classes of Bob's Tactical. And they go, who? Who's Bob's Tactical? Okay. Now, all in all, was he a great instructor? Yes. I mean, top notch. Now, on the other side of the coin, we have the NRA. And that's a pretty controversial deal all in itself. People love and hate the NRA, both non-gun people and gun people, believe it or not. Here's the deal. So you go to NRA rifle instructor class, okay? Basic rifle. And you take the class, great, whatever. And you go to a range now. And now they say, well, who are you? And you say, well, hey, I've got an NRA, I'm a rifle instructor for the NRA. Awesome, that's great, come on in. Let's look at the 2 trainings. And I'm not banging on the NRA. There can be excellent instructors. It's hit or miss just like any profession in life. But just because it's NRA doesn't necessarily mean that it's awesome. And here's the thing. The NRA gives you the certificate, right? And that is worth everything. So you have like your credentials. So for me, I got lots of NRA certificates. And ultimately, when you really boil it down, the best training I've ever gotten has nothing to do with the NRA. And it's not because the NRA is bad. They just follow a very strict guideline. If you look at some of the best shooters, SWAT team guys, Special Forces guys, people who have seen real duty and combat, these are the guys that teach you a lot of really, really great stuff, and people who are just excellent instructors who've been training for a long time. But it's not worth a whole lot as far as credential value. And then you have the big name school, which is category 3, right? At this point, it really doesn't matter. They could do whatever. They could teach you how to throw poop. And as long as their name is on there, they're like, oh, you're the man. Come on. Wow, you went to that school? You're the man. Which is funny because it doesn't necessarily mean that you know anything at all. But they're the big name. They're the Harvard or the Yale of the shooting community, right? And we would all know their names if I threw them out there. And you pay a whole lot of money to get there. And I'm not saying that they're bad. They have a great reputation for a reason, because they typically turn out very good results. And that's wonderful. So you just got to understand those are the 3 kind of areas that you're going to go. You may find an instructor who doesn't have a ton of credentials, maybe just a basic certificate here, but has a lot of experience that isn't going to be from a big name school. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. This is mostly wrapped around people who would listen to this information, which is people who are new to shooting or just got into it or took a couple classes or maybe even had a bad experience with the class and want to know what this is all about. Where is the good training at? And which is the true answer? Everywhere. There's good training everywhere. There's good men and women who train from various backgrounds, and you as a student will connect with them or you won't, and that's okay. But you got to find one that works for you. So what's the bottom line to all of this? The bottom line is this. Find training that is reasonable. What I mean by reasonable, that is a reasonable distance from you with a reasonable amount of money, and if it turns out to be not so great, it's not going to be the end of the world. Okay? So if your budget is, I can spend $500 for training, well then fine. Don't go push yourself to $1,000 because I can just reach that huge name, blah blah blah, super amazing big name school, and maybe it'll be great, maybe it won't. Find something that's within your budget and your area that's reasonable, and if it doesn't work out, find somebody else. The whole point is that you're out there and you're learning. And I will tell you this. With all my years of experience, the fact that I own a company and I do a lot of training, I train lots of students, I could tell you right now, I could go to any basic shooting course in America, anywhere, with a qualified instructor, we'll just assume that they're at least qualified, take a basic class and get something. I could get something out of everything. If you're truly open-minded and you want to learn, I can find something from every level out there, okay? You just got to stay open to it. Maybe we'll do another video about this when you get into more of advanced shooting, because there's kind of a whole nother tier of this whole deal. And maybe we'll make a video if there's interest in that. But hopefully this will cover all the people who are just looking to get training and what to do about that. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. You can find us, of course, on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. And now you're going to be able to find us on Patreon. We're going to be on there. It's kind of the new avenue that we're going towards along with YouTube. We're going to explore it, see how it works out. The greatest compliment you can give me, of course, is to share our stuff. Kim and I greatly appreciate that. It's how we get our message out there. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.